Hey, howdy. I'm back. We're doing some more Yumatuki. I am finally free. I'm finally done with grad school. The last final was yesterday. Today I'm chilling, tomorrow I'm moving out. It's fun times. I already did the dailies today. Oh, right, I forgot about this. They got a whole parade going. I always love seeing stuff like this. This game is amazing. And the multiplayer aspect makes it so much better. Anyway, I already did the dailies. I kind of want to do the weekly, because the weekly is to downpour. And it's not going to be much of a challenge, as you'll see. And then the vending machine, that's very obviously Sands of Self, and I'm fine with an excuse to go back to Sands of Self. So let's start with Downpour. Downpour is going to be simple enough because there is a passage that runs through RGB Spectral. There's a path that runs through RGB Spectral Passage, excuse me, which I currently have as my phone connection. So I can just go there. This isn't going to take long at all. But yeah, the main thing that I've been doing recently is I have been picking myself up by the scruff of my own neck and telling myself that I need to try new things. Which is why I've been spending the past 3 hours playing Getting Over It with Ben and Foddy, which has been fun. Now, if you haven't heard of Getting Over It, it's a weird game to explain and an even weirder game to recommend. It's a game by indie creator Bennett Foddy, lesser known than some of his peers, but he's buds with Terry Kavanagh. He's buds with a lot of like the Newgrounds folks. He's most well known for QWOP, which is like very famous Flash game about a like Olympic runner that I feel like it's right to say that he popularized that entire genre of games with difficult controls. Now, I don't say games with good controls, I say games with difficult controls. I'm talking about stuff like, I Am Bread, Surgeon Simulator, one of those. Games that are typically not fun to play, but are fun to watch other people suffer through. And Lightning Struck Twice, Getting Over It also did that, and also popularized it, but for an entirely different group of people and an entirely different generation. I mean, it feels weird to call it this a generation. It's only been like 10-ish years. But this time it was stuff like let me see. A difficult game about climbing. There was a couple of like Sisyphus games that came out that were very obviously aping on Getting Over It. Chained Together, Only Up. The concepts were basically the same. It's just now instead of being designed as YouTuber rage games, they were designed as streamer games. Similar ideas, but like different execution there. What? What do you mean? Nothing? There's just nothing in here. It's literally just a connection and nothing else. I don't think I've ever seen that. The visual effect is nice, at least. Right. Oh, this area is tiny, actually. I was trying to, like, I was overcompensating a little bit on the height, but no, I just completely missed the door because there's barely any space here. I appreciate the hyper-realistic... What? I should be running directly into this. Is it... If I align myself with this top, with the top of the top pole, I should run right into this door, right? There you are. How did I miss that both times? But yeah, Getting Over It has been surprisingly good. Good and fun, and I was not expecting that. Because I have a big backlog on Steam that I just have listed as like, I have it written down as like the to-dos, something like that. It's just all the games that I have on Steam that I've literally never touched, that I've been meaning to play, and I've just never really found the time. I think you can use Fairy to get under, yeah. Really nice. If I use fairy here, I might be able to get a picture of the whole thing. Barely not. But despite how it looks, that game is surprisingly zen, which I wasn't expecting at all. I was expecting it to just be like, haha, rage game, which is how it was marketed, like peer-to-peer, but that game takes itself much more seriously than I was anticipating, and it works out for the best. Okay, so let's try Sands of Self, and then I'll think of something else to do, I guess. But yeah, it takes itself surprisingly seriously, which, honestly, I'm fine with that. It has a whole discussion inside of it that is so weirdly prescient for what ended up happening. The game talks about how games in its genre should not be looked down upon as, like, cheap entertainment. And not just talking about rage games, but, like, video games as a whole. Which is hilarious, because that game ended up inspiring a whole dearth of games that, not to mince words, are kind of snack games. I'll charitably call them snack games. There's just not a lot to them. And usually people are fine with that. It's just like it's a quick bite to eat. It's just something small and cute and funny to experience for like a couple of days before you move on to something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love that. That is such a fun visual. Where to next? Machine Daily. Free Expedition is Decrying Mural World. This is Mini Nexus. This is Yumabako. Wasn't there new stuff related to Yumabako? I seem to recall that. Yumabako. Yeah, there was. Cornfolk's Grounds and Server Not Found. Let's do Cornfolk's Grounds. It's like, Server Not Found, I believe, is a little bit deeper. Because it's in Swamp of Remembrance, which is, yeah. So Tory Trail is here. Tory Trail's already quite deep. Swamp of Remembrance, I think, used to be the end of this path? That sounds right. Oh, yes, yeah. Because there used to be a connection here to Moonlit Street, which is, if I remember correctly, yeah, it's this map. Okay. This used to be part of, like, a gigantic path through, like, Autumn Sky to, what's it called? Eyeberry Orchard. That whole path. Okay, so that's been, like, reworked. Let's do Cornfolk. Where was I going? Night Lost Atelier. But yeah, it's surprisingly clever in its themes, and the game feels good to control, which, again, I wasn't expecting. Based on everything that I had heard about the game, I was expecting it to be a nightmare to control, and to be perfectly honest, it's still frustrating. Like, I make this mistake a lot with games that I play, where I expect it to be all or nothing, and it's never really that simple. I expected it to be either deeply, deeply frustrating and unfun, or the other end of the spectrum where it just feels great to control and I just blitz through it in a day. I did neither of those things. I found myself frustrated with the controls, but it still managed to capture my attention because it's fun. And it's just, I have a lot of that, like, deep-seated respect for movement games, because I haven't mentioned it explicitly, but in a while, but even to this day, I play a lot of TF2 and Momentum Mod in my off time. If you've never heard of a Momentum Mod, it's actually a really cool thing. It's a source mod game that combines together a bunch of different movement modes from TF2, from Counter-Strike, from like classic Quake, Unreal Tournament kind of stuff. It's really interesting. And it just takes all of those mechanics, tries to recreate them as effectively as possible within the source engine, and then tosses everything together in a big bucket so that you can just play them all in one place. It's really cool. They've got like rocket jump modes, sticky jump modes, excuse me, conk modes, which is the concussion grenade from Team Fortress Classic. It's got surf, b-hop, it's a fun time. And I've played a lot of that game, and the main result of me playing a lot of that game is I'm really used to... I'm not explicitly going to say games with bad controls, but I am going to say, like, games that... where you have to work within the bounds of the game's movement. And you can take advantage of it. There's this really nice... Oh... So where am I now? I didn't see this connection when I walked in. Is this a no bat moment? Please? Okay, I can leave bat here. I don't want a Guts World situation where this is just like a giant room with a teleport in it. Ooh. Hello. I don't like his eyes darting around. Is this a corn folk? Is this a corn folk? Am I seeing that correctly? Hang on, let me go invisible. Wait for like the light to catch. There we go. It's a cool screenshot. But I don't mind banging my head against a wall. I also remember, because I ended up watching, part of the reason why I decided to pick up the game was because I didn't watch a streamer play this game, I watched Penny Snapcube play a difficult game about climbing, which was delightful. As is everything she does, but like this especially was just a really very cozy set of streams, a set of videos. But the main thing that came up was that logic of like, yeah, these games are essentially Roblox obbies. It's just throwing yourself against an obstacle over and over and over again, and just shooting the shit. Maybe there's like cool music, or like you're playing it with friends, but like the bottom line is that you're flinging yourself against it until it works. And you can do some wacky things with the physics, but after a certain point, it's a game of numbers. Weirdly enough, because there's no RNG, but it's a game of numbers of how often are you going to mess up, how far are you going to get on each attempt, how long will it take you on average to reach the end of the game. That number for me is looking like somewhere between 5 to 10 hours, so I might queue up a secondary game while I finish out this. Where exactly am I going? Back to Night Lost Atelier, no kidding. Interesting. So what is this last one? What is Atelier of Emptiness? Is apparently this upcoming area. But yeah, I ended up hearing about the game, played it. The movement feels good. The movement is easy-ish to exploit. It's not... It's still tricky to manage, but that doesn't mean it's, like, unruly or anything. It's just you have to be very calm, very cautious. If you make mistakes, you are probably going to lose a lot of progress. This character's cute. What are you doing over here? I hope she doesn't end up dead. Well, shoot. I do have to kill her. Sorry. Ugh. Cool. I already wasn't huge on that before I realized that there was no point in it besides me murdering someone. All right, let's try server not found. Let's see the other half of that. Swamp of Remembrance is interesting. Okay, so my options are either Tory Trail, or Rice Field. Let's do Rice Field. Looks like they're both equivalent. I love the little wheel running around. Okay, Portrait Purgatory. Is this Sakura Forest, or is this... Where are you? Where every book piles, right. Awesome. Oh, okay. Whenever I go to Portrait Purgatory, I always assume that I'm going to the place with the portrait that you have to kick. Okay, yeah, but this is like more or less a straight line. I reached over to pick up a styrofoam cup, assuming that it had water in it. It's got nothing. I'm gonna be dry as a bone for the time being. I can go get food after this anyway. I'll be fine. Okay, I'm going to... If I block you... Yeah, okay, that pops. That stops appearing. I feel like they're gonna keep going. They're gonna keep going until a mod pops up. I'm not gonna deal with that. Okay. Tiger Trail. Right, Tiger Trail! This is cute. This is like that one Odin section. Yeah, it's even got the music. It's very Odin-esque. One of these is Tory Trail, I don't remember which. Let's take a random guess. Okay, we were right. We don't want Tory Trail, because Tory Trail's a headache. Okay, so from Ricefield to Secret Society, so that's the path that requires bike. Or that requires you to remove bike, rather. But I ended up playing Getting Over It. That's been fun so far. I also ended up playing, and this is... I wish I liked this game more, but it is what it is. I played Blasphemous. Blasphemous was not my thing. To give a bit of context, Blasphemous is like a combination of Dark Souls and Castlevania. And I know some people... There's a lot of people who... I know there are people do this less than they did. We'll look at anything with like a grimdark, not grimdark, excuse me, but like a sword and sorcery air about it and difficulty and say it's Dark Souls. Blasphemous is like as Dark Souls-y as it possibly gets. Like it's right up there with Dead Cells. But I'm gonna be honest, thinking about Blasphemous, thinking about Dead Cells, I just liked Dead Cells more. The art was a lot cooler in Blasphemous, but oh my god, the gameplay sucks. I'm not gonna mince words there. The gameplay is really frustrating. Because it is Dark Souls saving and like bonfire mechanics mixed with precision, like Flash game-esque precision platforming. And also the cryptic nature of a Dark Souls game mixed with the Metroidvania aspect of a Castlevania game. It's just not a good fit. And it's unfortunate because the art style and the pixel art is beautiful. I just wish the game was more fun to play. And maybe the sequel addresses these issues, and maybe the sequel is more fun to play. I don't really want to bother. I know that sounds rude, and it is, but like, I don't know. I couldn't even reach. I didn't even make it to a boss. I made it to the tutorial boss, which is literally the first screen that you find, and then wandered around like an idiot in one area, and then moved to another area, got lost again, and then had a hat trick. The third area, I also got lost, and had no idea where I was going. So I just dropped it and moved on. Moved on. It happens. Maybe I'll come back to it someday. I kind of doubt it. But my word is not gospel. If you like that kind of game, then by all means go and play it, because the pixel art is gorgeous, and the music was also quite nice as well. I like this character. What is she up to? But honestly, I want that. That's the funny thing about my interactions with the Blasphemous, is like, okay, I didn't like it. Good. I want to be able to play a game and go, you know what, that was not for me. Because something I've started realizing about indie games is a lot of indie games have their edges sanded off. And there are situations where that is fine, but there's a lot of games that, like, where it's like, this was designed by committee, essentially. And thankfully, it seems like Slay the Spire 2 is not going in this direction, but there is that vibe of, this was very obviously made with a Discord server looking over their shoulder and like, complaining about every minutia, and by the time the game got out the door, there's nothing left to complain about. And like, okay, but I want a game that I can actually play and have both positive and negative things to say about it. It's like, I feel like that's a more enriching experience than just, I watched this show, I liked this show, let's go watch something else. Maybe that's just me. Ooh, oh shoot, this is, what the hell's the name of this? It's a Server Hub. I forgot, this is the same this is the same author. So the door, oh my god, the door. That's really cool, actually. This is a big maze. But I want games to challenge me, I want games to force me to think, and to grow, and to have genuine complaints. I feel like it's better that way. It's like when I played SLRPG, there was a lot of that game that was really, really good, and a lot of that game that I feel could have been better. Doesn't mean it's a bad game, obviously. It just has flaws. As it happens, games can have flaws. Movies can have flaws. It's part of the reason why I've been watching Twin Peaks with friends. And I have been having a ball with it, because it is not perfect. Not by any stretch of the imagination. It has very serious problems sometimes. Some of the characters are, well, some of the character like performances are just outright racist. And even beyond that, there was a whole situation with David Lynch and Mark Frost where not anything acrimonious between the two, but essentially David Lynch stepped away to go, I believe, work on the movie Wild at Heart, while Mark Frost stayed on to continue directing the show, and then ABC clamped down on them to wrap things up, basically. Which is a dick move, let's be clear. And to not give anything away, it's a murder mystery. Oh. Oh, the connection to Moonlit Street is still here. I thought they removed it. It's also a one-way path. Oops. Sure. That works for me. I like this area. But to not give anything away, it's a murder mystery, and they were pressured by ABC to reveal who the killer was early. For what it's worth, that episode of the show, Arbitrary Law, is one of the best episodes in the show, and like one of the best episodes of TV I've like watched recently. It is really, really good. But you can definitely tell that that was them reading through David Lynch's notes. It was like, okay, shoot, we have to wrap this up. What did David have written down for how this was going to end? And then the next 5 episodes are really slipshod because they were essentially stalling for time while they waited for David Lynch to finish with Wild at Heart. And obviously, showrunning is more complicated than that. It's not as simple as the director stepped away so the show became bad, but you can tell there is a significant drop in writing quality the minute David Lynch leaves the show. But we've reached the point where he's back, and one of the friends that I'm watching the show with went to Japan, so we're waiting for us to all be in one place so we can finish it up. But it's good. It's a good show. Not everything's perfect, but I'm fine with that. Like, that's the thing that I want to preach is, like, find things and enjoy media that is not perfect. You'll be a better person for it. Right, Mini Nexus is a whole thing. I don't know, I'm kind of running out of things to do already. And my voice is giving out a little bit, so I'll tell you what, I will end relatively early. If I head back to the Nexus, I wonder if the parade is still going on. It sure is. Awesome. I'm just gonna sit here and watch this. I love the wheel. That's so funny. But yeah. I'm gonna go grab some dinner, and maybe I record something else today, maybe I don't. My schedule's gonna open up a lot more in these next few weeks, I'll tell you that much, because I'll actually be home, and I'll have an entire month to myself to do whatever before I go back into the full-time work mind, so that'll be fun. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Thanks so much for watching.